Hey, why is it that some people are celebrated and others are not generally in life? And then why is it that when some pass away, they are forgotten and some are remembered? This is something that I always think about, but I want you to think about the fact that somebody died 9, almost 10 years ago, and there is a book that was written by different people that were touched by him. They came, wrote a book, and presented it to the public recently in Abuja. And I thought that it's important for us to discuss this phenomenal human being, because I was personally touched by him when I was at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And he was once a Deputy Vice-Chancellor of the university. He was with the National Gallery of Art as the chair of the National Gallery of Art. I'm talking about the late Professor Nasidi, Yakubu Nasidi. The man was exceptional, but the person who organized that is the head of Department of Theatre and Performing Arts at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, my alma mater. So I have her in the studio here.
Thank you.
Dr. Rasheedah Liman, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Why was this very important for you to do this book project?
Well, you described the late Professor Yakubu Abdullahi Nasidi, and I could see your dominion changing and all that. So this is an individual that is legendary, actually. We're not celebrating him because he was our teacher or because he was our friend, but this was an individual that was really, really impactful. He was somebody that is an academic par excellence, a teacher that loves to guide, a teacher that loves to mentor. So for me, if I'm supposed to talk about late Professor Yakubu Abdullahi Nasidi, I think we'll spend the whole day today here. This was a man that, loved the academia. He loved to share knowledge. And most of all, he was a very, forgiving person. He's not the type that he would offend and he would take the offense to heart. He loves to forgive. And of course, just like you said, he was once a Deputy Vice-Chancellor in Ahmadu Bello University. He was once the Dean of the Faculty of Arts. He had worked, in cultural settings. I can go on and on. He was also once in, I think he worked in the Aso Villa at some point. So, and, he didn't allow all that, get to him. He was as humble as, anyone can be. So that's the nature of the person we're talking about. In celebrating him, it was, an easy decision.
Wow.
He passed away 9 years ago, but the assumption is like he's still with us because he was so impactful. When somebody impacts your life and you are an honest person, you don't have a choice than to acknowledge the impacts of that person on your life as, an individual and collectively, the kinds of people, he had mentored, tutored, he had taught and all that. So celebrating Professor Yakubu Nasidi was really easy. It's an easy decision. So, and that's why we went ahead and did it.
As a student, how was he to you? How did you even meet him?
It's well, this story, a lot of people had asked me, why are you so passionate about celebrating this man? And I left them actually in suspense because I wanted them to read the book. In that book, there's a part of tributes. So in the tributes, people would get to know, the reason why I'm really, really passionate about it. I actually met him on my first day in the university. The first time I came in and we're having lectures. And this person walked in, dressed completely like a politician. If you know Professor Yakubu Nasidi, is somebody that is well-groomed.
Yes.
So he walked in and I'm looking and saying, is this a lecturer? This can't be a lecturer. This has to be a politician.
And those were the days of
yes,
poorly paid.
Yes, poorly paid, but he was well groomed. You know, he came in with, you know, Barbariga with the cap to match and all that. So, you know, of course, I was expecting somebody that is, you know, is all fancy and there's no stuff.
Exactly.
So when this person started the lecture, I was transfixed. Seriously, I couldn't help but listen to what he was saying. And during the course of the lecture, he asked a question about Ozidi, the book by J.P. Clark, if you remember. And fortunately for me, I was able to answer that question. And that was it. That was how our relationship started, because this was a man that loves education. He likes to interact with people that can educate him, in quotes. So I answered the question and he just took, you know, interest in me. And after the class, you know, we had 1 or 2 more conversations. And that's how my father-daughter, mentor-friend kind of relationship, even though I was really, really young, but he took interest. And from that day on, you know, would meet, have educational conversations. He would help with resources and all that. And that was it. And then I remember after I graduated, I wanted to take up my ME program, master's program in Faculty of Arts, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And I remember going to his office and giving him the form and saying, I want you to be one of my referees. He looked at me and said, Rasheedah, you want to come back for your master's? I said, yes. That means you're interested in the academia. And that question actually threw me off, because I wasn't thinking, you know, in that direction, really. I know I love academic things. I love to, you know, share knowledge, teach and all that. But then that wasn't what I was thinking for myself. And as it is usual in my conversation with him, he loves confident people too. He doesn't like, you know, people that are not confident. So I confidently said, why not? Yes. And then he said, okay, go and bring your application. And it was that easy with Professor Nasidi. Very easy. So 2 months after that conversation, I got my letter. And thinking back now, I'm thinking, of course, he recognized, you know, my zeal, my wanting to learn, my wanting to know, because I was a very curious person. And also, like him, I loved people that would teach me something. I normally wouldn't want to be around people that would dull me, if you like. So that was, you know, that kind of relation. And if you meet people that know Professor Nasidi, they'll tell you some of the things that he had done, and he does it so easily. He doesn't. Yes, you know. So sometimes, you know, people go to him with this, you know, they feel they have problems, and they go to him and they think that it cannot be done. He does it, you know, that easy, and you never hear him talk about it. So that's the part of him being really, really humble. He doesn't blow his own trumpet. So he has passed away 9 years now. Like yesterday was actually the 9th anniversary. 10th of May 2013 was the year he passed. I recall I was in the US. Then I was pursuing my PhD. I went on a Fulbright scholarship. And when I got the call, I was on the streets of Michigan State University. Then, honestly speaking, I broke down, because it was so unexpected. And like, you know, the circumstance of his death, it was in the mosque praying the Friday congregational prayers. And then while praying, he just, you know, and he actually died on the spot. So it came as a shock and surprise to everybody. He wasn't sick. He wasn't, you know, he was healthy. He was good, fine. And that happened. And that also contributed to, you know, I would say the quintessential Nasidi. Yes. Because it doesn't do his things in the normal, ordinary, mortal kind of way. So he's this really special person, and I'm happy that I was able to coordinate, of course, with the help of a lot of people. A lot of people came in to assist. And then, of course, yesterday was a climax of something we've been planning for 3 years. Wow. So I'm so happy that that came to fruition and all that. So. Wow.
Okay, we'll go on a break. When we come back, I want to ask you about, you know, ABU losing so many of its people, and when we would discuss how better can we immortalize people, especially looking at things like this National Merit Award and all of that, whether we should still be relying on those platforms for recognition.
Yeah.
So if you're watching us, please, if you're on YouTube, please share. If you're on NTA Makurdi, please go online, youtube.com/AkweyaTV, and share what we're doing. And we'd love to hear from you. But don't go away. We'll be right back shortly.
My name is Gifto Apogino, and this is my entry for the February to April Splendors of Dawn Poetry Competition 2022. The title of my poem is Unjust Judge. Nemesis will catch up with them one day. The men who make us sweat blood during their campaigns. They soon forget us, men for whom we scorned our brothers. But if we were not tools, will the unjust man rule? They are cause who betrayed our loyalty. The men who gave us peanuts to throw catapults. We both have seats on the same table. But that's why I'm not a perfect judge.
Good or evil. A cold heart. A million desires racing to and fro. Maybe one good deed. It will rinse my soul. And like a baby, my hands will be white. Purity at its peak. Or maybe one ill talk will bring me back to dirt and make my rinsed soul a beast. Good or evil.
Enshrouded with quivering hope, we pensively await the judge verdicts. Like men in a labor room waiting, my country consistently awaits her judges to bring nothing but justice. There sits the judge, on whose mighty gavel lies the fate of a nation that carries its yawning like a portmanteau in a posh PVCs and is caught in a political slugfest. Lies has been drilled into the judge bone to make him a self-fatted hunt and silent justice. Come witness power, switch to the hands that cook lies in a sitting cauldron of deceits.
Welcome back, and thank you so much, those of you who shared, and I know some of you are planning to share right now. Please do so. I'll wait for a few seconds. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we said we're going to talk about ABU is losing so many of its, very good hands. We've lost Professor Jenks Okwori, Sam Kafewo, Saliu Bapa, so many of them. Yeah. And I know this is happening in many of the premier universities too, and the second generation ones. How are we going to recognize them and also probably reproduce the kind of atmosphere that they created then?
Well, I think that, celebration actually comes in different ways. Yeah. And, we celebrate our icons also in different manners and methods. The most important thing for me is not to forget, their contributions and the efforts that they've put in, especially for those of us in the academia, because it's really not easy spending your whole life trying to do what is right, trying to groom people, trying to impact knowledge, and then you do all that and you pass away and nobody, it seems as if you're never there. That's really, really unfair. At the same time, we have so many people and it's difficult, to be able to acknowledge, each and every one of them. Yeah. But for me, I think that if we have the opportunity, if we get the opportunity, something that should be done. It may not be at the level of, for instance, the likes of the Nasidi, what we did yesterday and all that. But even if it's just holding a Zoom conversation and talking about, the theories or the, how will I say now, the kind of academic that the person was, and the things that the person was into. I think that would also be a form of celebration, but it would be really unfair to just let people contribute, spend their whole lives, and then nothing is being done, nothing is being said. And there are a number of things that I could attribute, to that. We're living in the difficult situation presently now in the country. And, things are happening so fast that it's easy to forget things that are important. It's not like you would not remember, but, carrying out whatever activity. For instance, I want to do a Zoom meeting with, colleagues who want to remember one individual. Even getting people together these days is a problem. So those are some of the things. And of course, some financial challenges and all that. So if, for instance, we have like endowment funds, that would be excellent. That you could just go into the COFAS, get funds out and say, okay, please, let's celebrate this person this year, and next year we'll do another one. But we don't really have something like that. So if I was going to profile anything, it would be that every university, for instance, should have an endowment fund where, members, of course, those that pass away, even some that are still alive, can be celebrated easily. Because, of course, whatever you're doing and you don't have the financial backing is always, a problem. And I think ASU can help, by gearing people. Let's do something about having endowment funds in every university in Nigeria. That way, our academics will not suffer when they are alive, and also when they are, nobody is, talking or remembering them.
Should ASU be involved in that? I mean, just asking. They are a union.
Yeah, it's a union of academics. And of course, if you're talking about the welfare and well-being of
motivation.
Yes, of course, you talk about, you mentioned ASU because, collectively we're stronger. And if we can put that idea on the front burner, for instance, I think it will gather better energy to sell, and people will buy into it more.
I even commend people like you for, even look at the risk all the way from Zaria, how risky by train, by road, there's almost no way to come to Abuja, but you pulled such a huge crowd. How did you even do it, where the former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Yaya Ahmed, was there, former Governor of the CBN and Minister Shamsuddin was there.
Professor former ambassador.
Well, you always say hi, former ambassador, and a playwright, and
lots of people.
How did you do it?
That's actually the Nasidi factor.
Okay.
He was a quiet person that knows a lot of people. And, when we're planning these things and, I trying to find out, who we're going to invite, we found all these people were virtually his contemporaries and people he had touched in one way or the other. So it was really easy when we picked up the phone, for instance. You talked about Yayali. The first day I called up Yayali, I just introduced myself and said, I'm coordinating a book launch on behalf of Professor Nasidi. He said, what? That was the first thing he said. What? Who? I mentioned it again. Nasidi, he said. I said yes. He said, okay, please send me the invite. It was that easy. Send me the invite. Send it to somebody in ABU. If you can't send it to Abuja, I'll pick it up.
Wow.
And that was it. Wow. So the same thing, for others that are called up and said, like Yayali, of course, maybe I met him once or twice, but not as a personal level. So just the name, could do that. So organizing it made it was easy because of the personality of that person, because you would remember him as somebody that was stressless, somebody that loved to promote people and share knowledge. And like I said, another thing about him that was the best quality, if you ask me, is somebody that is so forgiving. So forgiving. Like, you would offend him, of course, because we are human, but he doesn't take offense.
Wow.
No matter what happens, he
Wow.
will not take offense.
Wow.
And I remember, there was an incident that happened, and I thought that some people should be punished for, and this man, you see him talking to the same set of people, and it's real, it's not fake and all that. So I think that quality is something that, for me would be a lesson. And of course, it's a lesson that I've learned from him. That as human beings, we should not, stress ourselves over things that are not that important.
I can't remember Nasidi wearing anything other than white. You really?
Yes. So he's like I said, really, thinking back now, that's actually true. Yeah. And it has to be a Barbariga.
Yeah.
If it's not a Barbariga, the Barbariga may be in the car.
Yes.
Maybe he doesn't want it to get, and the cab goes.
Yes.
So yes, he was that kind of person that loved, to take care of himself, and of course he was healthy. He was a golf person. He was always, exercising and all that. So yes.
I remember also at the Creative Writers Club, the notice board we had then where we used to put creative writings. There was a time I was there, and then he came up to me and said, "Young man, I can't remember that calm voice, but I was in awe. This is someone I used to see around, and everybody, there was that mystique around him, because he wasn't screaming and yelling and doing all that up and down, but he was jovial. So I can't even remember what he said to me, but it was something that made me glad. Yeah.
You probably say, that was good, wallahi.
Yeah.
He had the use of,
Okay, so I said I'm going to ask you, when we talk about the Merit Award, National Merit Award, and these other ways of honoring our people, are we doing it well enough? Is that adequate?
Well, I think that if there's anything I'm going to point out is the nomination process. How are people selected? To be awarded? Do we go back to their roots? Do we ask the people that truly know them if they are deserving of merit award, national awards, and all that? So of course, some people know some persons and other. That happens. It's a normal Nigerian factor. But I think something that we could change is going back to, for instance, where the person started from. That's where you'd really hear the truth about the character of whoever you're trying to honor. People will tell you the truth. But by the time the person, has gone through the process, and then you are talking to people that met them or when they're already established and all that, of course, they're going to like sugarcoat what they're going to say, for instance. So, for instance, if somebody is a teacher, did you go to the primary school where the person started off, or the secondary school, or even the university to find out what kind of person is this person? And then, of course, you can build the person's CV from that point instead of starting from, the top. So for me, if there's anything about, I wouldn't say it's wrong, because of course, but then
there are human systems that need reformation. Actually.
Yes, a couple of persons, of course, well deserved, but others, of course.
Okay, just before we go, because our time is well spent, where will this book be available for people to? It's for sale, right?
Yes,
maybe in bookshops.
Yes, it's for sale. We're waiting to launch, so we've done the launch yesterday.
Okay.
So immediately after now, our plan is to get it, of course, to bookshops.
Okay.
I want to get it into Nigerian libraries, university libraries, of course, public libraries. Also want to get it into the hands of people that would share, because the idea is actually for people to read and find out about the character of this man called Professor Yakubu Nasidi.
Yeah.
I think that people are missing a lot. Of course, not everybody, when he was alive, it's not everybody that knows him. Now, fewer people about him, but it's an opportunity. The book for me is an opportunity.
Yeah.
The book is titled Intercultural Encounters in African Literature, Performance and Criticism, a book in honor of Professor Yakubu Nasidi. We will try as much as possible to make sure that it's available, like I said, in libraries and bookshops, and of course in the hands of people like you in the media, so that you could help us, propagate the news that there's somebody, although it's late, but people can still learn a lot from him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I really enjoyed the work and enjoyed the conversation with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
I wish you the best. And then thank you for staying with us on AkweyaTV. We always bring you history, art, culture, and development, because we believe that these are the fundamentals. If we want to transform Nigeria, then we need to look at our history. We need to look at the arts. We need to look at our culture as they affect this development. So feel free to send us a message. Like I said, you can also send an email to tv@akweya.com. And then on all the platforms on social media, we're at AkweyaTV on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We are all there. So see you online.